Anybody out there remember the Wilders? Marissa's a little too new to town, but they were a great old-time country bluegrass band featuring a fiddler named Betsy Ellis out front.
Betsy is an accomplished musician, but like all of us, she knows there's still a lot to learn.
And the lady she learned a lot from is 97-year-old Violet Brumley.
Violet lives in Yellville, Arkansas, and the bond between these two fiddlers is the subject of our next story from producer-videographer Julie Denechet.
We're gonna have a little Betsy Ellis goodness here.
Buffalo nickel. Anybody that knows me knows that Violet Hensley is a really important person in my life. She's a 97-year-old fiddler from Arkansas. She's known as the Whittling Fiddler of Arkansas and has also been designated an Arkansas living treasure, but she's a treasure of the universe to me.
Oh, dear Ma, pin a rose on me. Two young men are looking at me. One is blind and the other can't see. Oh, dear Ma, pin a rose on me. I am Violet Hensley. I'm called the Whittling Fiddler because I've made 73 fiddles, made fiddles and played the fiddle. I wanted to play the fiddle, I guess, because we didn't have anything else to do, but we didn't have television or radio. And Dad played it, and I guess it just struck me that I wanted to play. And I can't read, I'm not a musician. I just learned it, it's in my head. If I can't put it in my head, I can't put it on the fiddle. When I was about a teenager, I could just about copy whatever I heard. That's the reason I learned it so well.
When I fell in love with fiddle music, I fell so hard, and I turned away from pretty much all other genres of music for years. And it was only a few years into that first flush of loving traditional fiddle music that I met Violet. And I hadn't spent too much time with elder generation players before that. I had met a few, had been really excited by some of those meetings and inspired by other Ozark fiddlers in particular, actually. But I didn't have that many inspirations who were female. And meeting Violet and this really strong lady who pretty much never met a stranger in her life. You know, that first meeting was so impactful, and she was so welcoming, and she cared enough to spend time with me. If I asked her to play this section again, I'm just trying to get that bowing. What is your bowing? Her little tricks, I used to call them. She was so patient and would spend this time with me as many times as I wanted. Go over it and go over it, and never got tired of taking that time to share those little special moments with me. And so how could I not have a lifelong friendship with her?
You know, I like this lady right here, too. She's a great friend.
I love you, Violet. Absolutely. I feel like our friendship is one of my
We've been friends all of our life, but we didn't know it until we met about 10 years ago.
That's right.
This life will be o'er and I'll travel no more.
Learning a tune from Violet gives me the opportunity to see the whole picture, literally. I like to think of fiddle tunes as the melody, the notes come in the ears, and then the bowing comes in through the eyes.
Fill my way every day with love, love, love.
And so I can sit there and watch Violet and see the circles that she draws, the little handwriting, as she calls it, with her wrist. And I can see how that has an impact on the overall tune.
Yeah, she's trying to make her copy my bow work. It just happens to be my arm's way of doing things. I developed that over the years of playing. Now, I used to play, my dad was kind of a stiff-arm fiddler, and he didn't get all the notes in there that I add to the tunes now. But now, she's good with that fiddle bow, too. She just has a different arm. I still going to teach her some more. And then back to the left on the D and G, it makes us go da dee do do da dee do do.
Well, Violet has her own approach to these tunes. Some of them are so unique that I've never heard the likes of them anywhere else. There are some tunes that come directly from her family.
Yeah.
You know, Violet and her existence and her example that she puts out everywhere, it's also a great reminder to appreciate those who have lived very different lives from our own, people who've lived longer than we have, and the multitude of lessons we can get from them. And whether it's, you know, how to get through some hard times or how to make really good cornbread, they're all really important lessons.
You and me, little brown jug, don't I love thee? Ha ha ha. You and me, little brown jug, don't I love thee? I don't know if I've ever heard you do the hookup part on it before.
That's the way drunks do.
I love to see her get so giggly when she's playing a tune like that. But then there's certain ones, you know, that like Boil Them Cabbage Down or Sally Gooden. Those tunes are also ones where it's well known that she will probably take the tempo up to an unmanageable place, that unmanageable for everyone except for her. But in the case of this concert, I decided I wasn't going to give up, and I think I was almost there with her.